Minister Lawrence Wong announced that the monthly contribution ceiling for the CPF will increase from 6,000 to 8,000. With a higher monthly contribution to your CPF, this translates to a reduced take-home income. This is a reality. It's going to happen. The government is not going to change their policies because you're against it. Start planning for ways that you can reduce your expenses. By the time January 2026, you're ready to meet this reduction in your take-home income.
CPF forms the foundation of our retirement strategy, exploring additional avenues to boost our CPF savings for increased lifetime payouts and supplementing them with diverse income sources is essential for funding our golden years. What implications do the recent CPF changes hold for your future? I'm Roshan Gidwani, and joining us today is Kelvin Koh, the Senior Group Financial Services Director from Infinity FA. Hi Kelvin, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's dive right in. Could you briefly explain the recent buzz surrounding the CPF contribution increase?
In February this year, during the budget, Minister Lawrence Wong announced that the monthly contribution ceiling for the CPF will increase from 6,000 to 8,000. So this will be done progressively over the next 3 years, and by January 2026, the first 8,000 of your salary, you do have to contribute to your CPF for that. So a good way to remember, something that I remind myself to remember all the increments. So I use 4 digits to help myself, is 3566. So for September 2023, it will increase by 300, and in January 2024, it will increase by an additional 500. And in January 2025, it will increase by an additional 600. And finally, in January 2026, the final 600 to reach 8,000.
I know many of us are probably scratching our heads, worrying about how these extra contributions might squeeze our monthly budgets. Could you paint us a clear picture? How will these changes directly impact individuals, and what should we keep in mind?
So with a higher monthly contribution to your CPF, this translates to a reduced take-home income. So assuming you're earning $8,000 per month, in September 2023, your take-home income will be reduced by $60 a month. And by the time January 2026 comes, your take-home income will be reduced by $400 a month. So the immediate impact that most people will feel will be they might not have enough liquidity for their immediate needs. An important point to note is the annual ceiling limit for your CPF contribution has not been increased, even though the monthly ceiling limit has been increased. So the annual limit is still at $102,000. So if your annual package is in excess of $102,000, effectively you're not affected by whatever changes that's been made. So even though every month your take-home income is lesser, this will be made up by your bonus at the end of the year. Because you have to make less contributions on your bonus at the end of the year. So how should people deal with this $400 reduction in their take-home income? So preferably they should reduce their monthly expenses, cut the areas that are excessive, so that you have additional $400 of savings every month. Alternatively, they can also reduce whatever budget they've set aside for their longer-term planning for their own retirement. They might have a monthly contribution to an investment plan. So go and explore. Is it possible for you to reduce your commitment to the investment plan by $400 a month? Because this $400 is not going to be spent by you. It's going to be set aside in your CPF. It's still going to accumulate for your long-term goals. So it involves budgeting, it involves moving your funds around. So I would strongly recommend they can speak to their financial advisor. The financial advisor will be able to paint a clearer picture for them based on their specific scenario that they're facing.
What are the potential benefits that could arise from these CPF contribution increases?
There are definitely a lot of benefits that can arise from these CPF contributions. Number one, you'll be setting aside more for your own retirement needs. So it is a form of an enforced saving for you. On top of that, whatever you save, your employer is going to contribute even more to your CPF. So with these two benefits working together, you'll be assured that you will have a significantly higher retirement nest egg by the time you are 55 or 62.
As we conclude our discussion, can you give any final advice to our viewers who are concerned about the increases in CPF contributions?
There are 3 groups of people that will be affected by this increase. So the first group of people are those that are not supportive of this increase. So they are probably spending almost all of their take-home income every month. So if I were to tell them that they will get $400 less they will struggle with meeting their obligations. Yeah. So for this group of people, my advice for them, this is a reality, it's going to happen. The government is not going to change their policies because you're against it. Yeah. So it's important that you meet up with your financial advisor and start planning for ways that you can reduce your expenses over the next 3 years, so that by the time January 2026 comes, you're ready to meet this reduction in your take-home income. For the second group of people, these are the people that are fully supportive of the government scheme because they understand that by contributing more to their CPF, they will be accumulating more for their retirement. And at the same time, they also understand with this government scheme, the employers are also obliged to give you more contributions to your CPF, and this works well for you to accumulate for your retirement. Yeah, but a word of advice for this group of people, employers will also factor this increase in cost into their planning. Yeah, so you might see a stagnation in terms of your salary increment over the next few years. Yeah, so if you have been used to a steady increase in your salary every year, yeah, just keep a lookout. Will this increase still happen over the next 3 years? But the final group of people will be a group of people that understands the benefits of having a higher contribution to their CPF, but at the same time, they feel that it's not necessary for the government to implement a mandatory policy for them to save more. They prefer to keep a surplus and they prefer to do their own investments. Yeah, so I urge them to do their own sums, yeah, run some numbers, and you understand with the extra contribution that you put in, together with the extra contribution that the employers put in, and compounded at the interest that CPF gives you, what is the rate of return that you need to make in order to get an equivalent increase in terms of your long-term savings.
You've brought a lot of perspective to this interview, right, Kelvin?
Thank you.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's do this again sometime. As we plan for the future, it's crucial to think about these strategies, which involve both long-term and short-term actions to safeguard your financial well-being. This way, you can concentrate on what's most important to you. You've been watching Tea Time Tuesday. Until next time, keep seeking knowledge and financial empowerment.